We have 9 acres. We moved down here about 3 years ago to start really just to have kind of a self-sufficient small holding, and it's sort of grown from there. We have a 1 acre of market garden, and we have 2 acres of fruit orchard, another acre of a nut orchard that we planted just this year. We have 2 acres of a food forest that's sort of in development, so it's very, very young. You'll just basically see a field of grass plus a few trees. Then we have kind of a paddock at the bottom, and we have a 4 acre field, and in there we have horses, plus we've planted about 500 native trees that are all very small, and we're kind of hoping that'll grow up to be a nice woodland, so we can kind of just manage the wilder aspect of things down there. We use a mix of, I suppose, market garden techniques, organic gardening and permaculture to manage our growing. We sort of see, in terms of how we prioritize things, our first priority, our first value is improving nature, or offering a sanctuary or a wildlife, an oasis for wildlife. So within the market garden, ours is quite a small area, and so what we've done is we've put in a pollinator strip. So this is essentially, we've taken an entire bed and we've dedicated it to plants that are beneficial for insects. And there's a few reasons why we've done that. One, it can reduce the amount of pests, so it can stop, for example, pests getting over from one side of the garden to the other. They kind of get stuck in the pollinators. The smell and scent of some of them are going to deter other pests, and then they also attract predators of our pests, so they'll attract things like ladybirds and other insects, spiders, and things that will eat slugs and aphids and that kind of thing. So we have it for that reason too, and then we want to attract the pollinators, because the more pollinators, so bees and lacewings and different insects that will go to our flowers, take nectar and then pollinate our plants, so it'll increase the amount of yields that we have. We mentioned that we try to produce most of the fertility and compost on the farm, and so one of the ways that we do that is we produce something called a compost tea. So at the moment we have one of our volunteers, Marie. She is very kindly, and it is a kindly because it's not a fun job, to chop up loads of nettles, and we're going to add water to this, and as they kind of basically break down in the water all of their nutrients and the nitrogen, particularly that nettles, because whenever you see nettles growing, you'll know that there's a lot of nitrogen. They need a lot of nitrogen to grow, so we often see them on roadside verges and places. So they'll basically be like a nitrogen fertilizer for our plants. We also use comfrey and a few other mixes as well, like an actual compost, to make those teas, and it becomes a liquid feed, and we put it on our plants. This field's about 2 acres, and this is our food forest experiment. So food forests are a concept. They've kind of been popularised by a guy called Martin Crawford over in the UK, and a number of other growers and horticulturalists. And the theory of it behind it is, if you go to a forest, no one is gardening a forest. It just knows how to grow. And it knows how to grow because it works together in an ecosystem. All the different plants and animals have roles, and those roles allow the cycling of nutrients. They allow the use of light, shade and water. And so the theory was that someone asked the question, well, how could we grow food that way? You know, because often we're cutting back the hedgerows that are growing rapidly to plant things that we have to really, really pay a lot of energy in to grow. So could we design an ecological system, but that instead of growing ash trees, they might grow food and many, many things for us. So these are our chickens. They live outside all year round. Their welfare is the highest priority. The eggs kind of come second. We sell them to our customers as part of our vegetable box schemes. We're not certified organic, but we use organic principles in all of our growing. So they're fed an organic feed, the only one that's produced available in Ireland. They're also fed on supplements. So for example, if something has gone to seed, we'll often throw it into the chickens once we know that it's not poisonous for them. And they love particularly brassica seeds. So you can see some kale went to seed there, and they've like stripped all the seeds out of the seed pods. They are also really useful in reducing the number of slugs and pests. So we'll move their area around. We did have them out wandering and it was lovely and really nice, but unfortunately they also really liked eating our vegetables. I don't think you actually have to do that much for nature, really. What you have to do is leave it alone. So finding alternatives and try not to worry too much, because, you know, going back to that farming in nature part about, if we have healthier soils and we've looked after, say, the nature and ecology and food systems, food webs in our soil, we're more likely to have healthier plants, and healthy plants are much less likely to be bothered by pests and diseases.
I think even on that idea of wellness though, and how when you walk around somewhere that has a huge population of and diversity of nature, how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
You know, I know for me looking around here and I'm seeing all kinds of butterflies, bees flying around, and I can hear different birds, and being able to notice all that, you know, it kind of gives me a good smile.